All right, today we are talking about clean fasting versus dirty fasting and what I recommend. And I'm going to give you my secret for adjusting your fasting window in a way that is easy and effortless and it will fit seamlessly into your life. We've got so much good stuff to discuss today, so let's get into it. All right, so now that you're practicing intermittent fasting and you're working on your windows, let's chat about what you can actually have when you're fasting. Lesson 7, thinking about food, what you can eat during intermittent fasting, and more specifically, what you can eat during your fasting window. In this lesson, you're going to learn what you can consume during a fast and what will break a fast, the difference in clean versus dirty fasting and what I recommend, and how to get the most out of your fasting window as you start to adjust and make changes. That's right, get excited because we're laying the foundation for how to adjust your fasting and eating windows in this lesson. So a quick note about restriction. When you first start out with fasting, it's important to set yourself up for success. You don't want to jump into anything that's harsh or restrictive because that's not sustainable and I don't want you to quit. You won't get results by quitting. And to be honest, most of us are here in the intermittent fasting camp because super restrictive dieting didn't work. And somewhere along the way, we quit whatever crazy diet we were trying to stick to because it just wasn't sustainable. So having said that, I have some specific recommendations to help you get going in the beginning. So what can I have when I'm intermittent fasting? We can't talk about fasting without getting into the clean versus dirty schools of thought. So let's just say the fasting police showed up during our fasting window and we weren't drinking either plain water, black coffee, green tea, or plain black tea. We would all be in violation. Those select few beverages are considered okay to have during a fast when you're following a clean fast. Literally anything and everything else is considered dirty. I'll go into more depth in just a minute, but for right now and to get you up and running as quickly as possible, I highly recommend starting with dirty fasting. I actually personally follow a dirty fast because it's realistic and sustainable. I've been doing this since I've been doing intermittent fasting and I've had great results. I've certainly tried to clean fast, but I just can't drink black coffee. What is a dirty fast? According to the research, dirty fasting is consuming things during a fast that stay under certain restrictions or amounts, things that don't cause an insulin response or a blood sugar spike. So this can either be like calorie restricted, like you can consume anything under 40 calories. Anything more than that will break your fast. It can be carbohydrate restricted, like anything you consume has to be under 1 gram of carbohydrates, or else that also breaks the fast. So dirty fasting is still fasting, so you're not consuming food, but it's staying under those magical numbers. So what are some examples of a dirty fast? So dirty fasting can look like coffee with a splash of light cream or a single pump of sugar-free flavoring. It can look like having tea that's either fruit-based or herbal tea. If you have water, maybe it's flavored water with no sugar or sweetener added, or it's water with apple cider vinegar mixed in. You can even have regular water with a squeeze of fresh fruit like lemon or lime. If you have plain water with electrolytes, that's considered dirty fasting. Even taking certain medications during your fasting window or chewing no sugar added gum, all of those things are considered a dirty fast. If you're drinking any of those things or something similar, and you stay under the carbohydrate or calorie restriction, and you avoid foods that trigger an insulin response, this is considered dirty fasting, and it will help you prolong a fast and meet your goals. And I also want to add, this is all dependent on the nutritional facts or specific brands that you buy, so it's super important to look at the ingredients and read the labels. And if you're curious about clean fasting, I only recommend strict clean fasting for short periods of time to my clients that have been fasting for at least a year and want an extra advantage or a small edge to help break a plateau. They all report that strict clean fasting is not super sustainable and that it does get them through a plateau, but they go right back to dirty fasting without any loss in results. The way I see it is there's no need to restrict yourself unnecessarily in the beginning when you're just getting started to see results. All right, but what will completely break a fast? So soda, including diet soda, bone broth, MCT oils, the medium chain triglyceride oils, coconut oil, collagen powder, pre-workout mixes, branched-chain amino acids, protein powders, anything that will cause an insulin release, any artificial sweeteners, and food. All of those things will completely break a fast. So let's take a look at the research and the science. Sugar is in everything. It is everywhere. So it's an important reminder to avoid any sugar, even stevia, during the fasting window. The taste of anything sweet, even though it's an artificial sweetener, can cause your insulin levels to spike because your brain anticipates sugar intake and your fasting benefits will be diminished. Not to mention that this anticipated sugar intake will spike your hunger and trigger cravings. So be super careful and read ingredients and nutrition labels. All right, so now it's time to start adjusting your fasting window. You've been at 12:12 for a little over a week now, so take some time to celebrate how far you've already come. Now it's time to start thinking about slowly extending your fasting window. I want you to trust the process and avoid the temptation to rush. Give your body time to adapt and truly tune in and take notes about how you're feeling and how your body is reacting. So let's dive into how you'll be adjusting your fasting windows. This is something you can start doing right now on your own timeline if you follow the recommendations I'm sharing. So we have to figure out what part of fasting feels the easiest for you. Are you type A? Is it easiest before you break your fast? Or are you type B? Is it easiest for you after you've eaten and it's time to close the window? All right, so if you said A, if it's easiest before you break your fast, the way you can adjust your window is to add an extra half hour or hour to your current morning fasting. Start slowly and work up to an hour. Adjust in 15-minute increments if you need to. Try to keep track of how your body is responding and stay consistent in these times for 2 weeks before you adjust again. So if you said B, if it's easier for you to close the eating window, you want to adjust your timed windows by simply removing a half hour or an hour from your evening eating, so you'll be closing the window earlier. Start slowly and work up to an hour. You want to use 15-minute increments, also keep track of how your body responds, and stay consistent for at least 2 weeks before adjusting your window again.
Hey friends, it's Editing D here. So I just wanted to pop in and say, once you make that 15-minute or 30-minute increment change, once you get to 1 hour of difference from your current window, that's when you want to stay consistent for the next 2 weeks before you adjust again. So go ahead and adjust the 15 minutes, every couple of days or every day if you can tolerate it, and then work up to that 1 hour of difference from the 12-12 window, and then try to stay consistent with that for about 2 weeks before you change again. So I hope that makes it a little bit more clear.
All right, so if you're a little bit of both, that's great. You can use what I call the mirror method or the sandwich method. So this means that you can simply delay breaking your fast by 15 minutes or 30 minutes in the morning, and you can shorten your eating window by either 15 minutes or 30 minutes in the evening. You want to slowly adjust your times and use each end of the windows. Build to a maximum of 30 minutes on each side, and stay consistent with this for about 2 weeks before adjusting your window again. So how to get the most out of your fasting window? Focus on hydration first. Don't forget to drink water with a pinch of salt added. Once you're needing something else or you're still thirsty, consider a dirty fasting add-on. For example, coffee with a splash of creamer. Remember to stay under those magic guideline numbers, 40 calories or 1 gram of carbohydrates, and nothing that would spike your insulin. Be sure to take notes of how your body is responding. So as you lengthen your fasting window, this dirty fasting lesson will be even more valuable because you'll use the tips and tricks in this to help you extend your fast and stay in the burning metabolism boosting zone. So why are we not moving any faster than a 2-week window? So according to recent research from Johns Hopkins University, it takes about 2 to 4 weeks for your body to adjust to a new fasting window. After this time, your internal body processes are functioning at their optimum, and your body is ready to handle the stress of a new adjustment. You've got to give your body a chance to adapt and be primed and ready. All about trusting the research. So we'll take a special side note to the women that are taking this course. As your fasting windows extend and get longer, you might find you need a month to fully adjust to a new window. This is particularly important as you get to longer fasting windows, like 18 hours of fasting. I'll be talking more about hormones and fluctuations in the body and the role they play in fasting later, but I wanted to mention it here first. Because of the normal hormonal fluctuations and cravings and weight gain that occur as part of a healthy monthly menstrual cycle, our bodies sometimes need extended time to acclimate to a new fasting schedule. Be gentle with yourself and take all the time you and your body need. There's no perfect fasting window for everyone, and it's not a race. So jumping into an aggressive fasting window isn't a shortcut to success. It's more like a recipe for frustration. Intermittent fasting is a long-term eating strategy, and I'm here with you every step of the way to get you to your healthiest, most energized self. So now it's time for you to take action. Examine your current fasting routines. Are you already dirty fasting within the guidelines? What changes can you make? Keep track of your beverages and your hydration intake prior to breaking your fast for the next several days. Start working towards your new fasting window. And don't forget, if you've got questions about what will or won't break a fast or how to tweak your fasting windows, don't forget to ask.
All right, so there you have it. This is why I recommend dirty fasting, both for longevity and for making your intermittent fasting easier, especially as you start lengthening your windows. Because I am so excited it's time to start lengthening your fasting windows. And hopefully the tips and tricks I gave you in this video make it a little bit easier to transition. We work nice and slowly so the body can adjust easily and effortlessly so it's not an uphill battle. So as always, thank you so very much for watching this video. Please let me know what new fasting window you're going to be using down below. And if you use method A, method B, or even the sandwich method, let me know which one you're going to be trying as you adjust your fasting windows. If you like this content, please give it a big thumbs up or subscribe. And if you know anyone that might find this information helpful, please feel free to forward this video on to them. Until next time.